Hello, we're going to go ahead and get started with another video. This one we're going to be talking about finding central angles from arcs. We'll talk about what that means in a second, but as usual, more videos are going to be up this week. Please feel free to email me if you have any specific questions or there are any specific problems that you need answered. If you send me the email, I will put it on the next Twitch stream so that you can get your question answered as quick as possible. So go ahead and do that. But for the meantime, we're going to talk about what it means to find the measure of a central angle given the measure of an arc. And we're going to talk about how you can go back and forth a little bit with that. And we'll even do some more problems in another video focused on the arcs rather than the angles, which is fine. So how we're going to do this is we've got an arc cut through a central angle. It's going to have the same degree measure as the central angle does, which is very convenient. It makes for a much easier problem. And why we're going to do this is because we need to be able to make sure that we can transfer between arcs and angles, because later on we're going to be talking about what's called arc length. So first thing we need to talk about is how we go from an arc to an angle. We talked about the basic idea last time with naming them, how you name the corresponding arcs to the corresponding angles, but it's actually much easier for here because if you know your central angle that you're looking for, and again, it has to be a central angle. It does have to go through the center of the circle, and that's the key here. If you know the central angle you're looking for, it is the same as the minor arc that cuts through. So this here, this minor arc is 64 degrees, so our angle also 64 degrees. So this is really easy. You go through, you look at the number, here's what this arc is, it's 64, so the angle is also 64 degrees. The sort of understanding of what these two numbers are is slightly different. When we're talking about an angle, we're talking about how open is that angle, how what is sort of the kind of almost like a distance in terms of from one arm of the angle to the other. How far open is it? What is the openness of the angle? And we call that 64 degrees. When we're talking about degrees on a circle, we're basically talking about what percentage out of 360 of the circle is this, right? That, you know, that's more like you're talking about spinning around in a circle. You do a whole 360 degrees, or you do half a spin and you go 180 degrees. So the degree measure of an arc more follows in line with that. Okay, same idea. What I've done here is I've given you some extra things to look at. These are distractors. You're going to be asked to do this real quick. So take a second, pause the video, and see if you can figure it out. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do the exact same thing as we just did. First, let's identify our angle we're trying to find. Oops, like this. And now that we've found that angle, we're going to look for the arc. Let's pick a different color. Well, that's this arc, right? This arc is right here. It's 85 degrees. So what does the angle have to be? Also 85. But Mr. Webster, you say, why is this thing here? To distract you. It's there to distract you. Don't worry about it. Cross it out. It is useless. It has nothing to do with the problem. Isn't that nice? You can just take something and get rid of it. You don't even need it. It's like it was never there. Here is your answer. 85 degrees is how open this angle is. 85 degrees is how far around the circle the corresponding arc goes. Okay, what about this one? So hopefully you took a hint from last time and you said, all right, well, this is my arc that I care about because it's just this guy, right? These guys don't matter. Forget them. Pretend like they ain't even there. Now look, the arc is 45 degrees, so what does the angle have to be? Same thing. All right, now let's make it a little bit harder. Now it's not just going to be take one, turn it right into the other. What we're going to do with this one is I'm going to be giving you enough information to figure it out, and then you've got to fill in all the blanks. So let's look at this one first. We're trying to find the measure of angle HGK. So let's identify that angle. HGK. Well, I've got to figure out the arc that corresponds to that, right? Well, let's label that arc going from H to K, this minor arc, right? Well, isn't it just all the way from here to here? And even though you're given these three separate pieces, we've been talking all year about the idea that part plus part equals whole, right? So since part plus part equals whole, let's just add those up. Part, part, part. 35, 30, and 95. Let's add those up. 5 and 5 makes 10. 1, 3, 3, and 9 makes 16. So this angle right here from H to K is 160 degrees. The arc is 160, so angle HGK has to also be 160 degrees. Pretty simple, right? Give this one a try. Okay, so if you think about it, it's the same idea. We just have to figure out from H to G to J. Now you might be thinking, well, I don't have HI. That's what I'm missing, right? I've got to go through and use my arc. I should be able to add those up. Whatever HI is, whatever IJ is, you add those up and you get the whole thing, and that's what our answer should be, right? Yeah, so let's figure out what arc HI has to be. So look, they give you literally every other arc, right? This is 30, this is 115, this is 90, this is 60. So can't you just add them all up? And then the whole circle is 360, so whatever that is minus 360, right? So let's do that. Let's add everything up. We got 30, we got 60, we got 90, we got 115. Add those up. So that's what the rest of it equals, 295. If I were to be a fancy math person, we want to talk about the complement of that. What's the rest of it, right? The stuff that's not the 295. Well, the whole thing's 360. We're going to subtract 295. Get 65. So that's this piece, right? 65. So now can I do the whole problem? Absolutely. 65 and 30. So my final answer. Add those up. The whole arc is 95, so that means the angle is also 95 degrees, right? That's all there is. Let's do another one. Again, take a minute, figure it out. All right. So let's go through. I'm looking for UXS. There's a bunch of ways that we can do this. There's like a billion different ways, actually. And I'm not going to tell you that any one way is better than any other way, but like here's the thing. You see this X in the middle of the circle, right? Remember, when we've got an X shape, just like when we were doing um, the congruent stuff that with the triangles, you know that um, the angles are going to be the same, right? With the hourglass shape that we had, the bow tie shape. This is a bow tie shape, isn't it? So this is 50. So the angle is 50. So this angle is 50, which means that this arc had better be 50. Now you can also do a lot of stuff here. You could say, oh, okay, well, this whole thing has to be 180, so this piece is 75. Well, then this whole piece has to be 180, so if this is 75 and this is 55, this had better be 50 left over, right? But you don't have to. You can just go straight across because these two angles are the same. Vertical angles are congruent, right? We talked about that. But so now I need angle UXS. Well, here's the two arcs. 55 and 50 makes 105. Since 55 and 50 make 105, we can just add those up and get the angle. So the answer, 105 degrees. Let's do another one. Again, take your time with it. Think about it. See if you can figure it out yourself first. Okay, so let's look at what we're looking for. We're looking for W, X, U. And the thing of it is, we need arc WV. Now, I'm sure there's at least one of you who went through and said, oh, wait, WV, that's the same thing as this one. Oh, but I don't have that one. So we got to do a different way. And here's the way that I would do it. I would say, look, all the way from W to T, that's straight across the circle. That is a whole 180 degrees. So if you know that these three angles add up to 180, you can add them up, subtract from 180, and get what's left. So you don't have to use an equation, but you should add these two up and subtract from 180. 76 and 64. $140. Great. So let's subtract from 180. So this piece right here, 40. So now all we have to do is add that up and get the angle. What is 40 and 76? Let's add those up. 116. You can double check your work. You could say 40, 76, and 64. Those are better equal 180, right? So they do. Great. Awesome. Perfect. We did it. Okay. Another same idea. Give it a try. See if you can get it. Look at what we're looking for. We're looking for angle HEI. So let's figure it out. HEI. We're looking for this missing piece. Well, once again, look at what we have here. We've got this straight line across the circle through the center. This is a diameter. This is 180 degrees from G all the way to J through H or through I, right? Arc GHJ, arc GHJ is a semicircle. So it's 180 degrees. So we've got one piece is 50, one piece is 80, and what's the missing piece, right? So let's do that. We got 50 and 80. That's 130, right? Well, what's 180 from 130? -130 better be 50. So this is 50, which means, so the angle's 50, right? Same thing. So now look, at this point, we've got variables. Let's start off with a pretty simple one. We've got the whole thing is right here, right? Every single arc is accounted for with a number or a variable or something. 45, 55, 160, 40, and 21x minus 3. So all we have to do is add those all up and set them equal to what a whole circle is, which is 360. Very good. So let's add them up and set it equal to 360. 21x minus 3 plus 45 plus 55 plus 160 plus 40. So look at how much we have here. We're going to combine our like terms so that we can make our life easy, right? We've got all these, our numbers. So we're going to add them. We got 1640 is 100, 11640 is 200, 55 and 45 is 100, and then minus 3. So 200, 100, minus 3. So we got 21x. 200 and 100 is 300, minus 3 is 297. All right, so once we do that, all we have to do is, this is just a two-step equation. Now we're going to subtract the 297 and divide by 21, right? Yeah, straight lines, my favorite. So look what we got left. We got 21x equals 63. Now we got to get rid of this 21. We're going to divide to both sides. 63 divided by 21 is 3, and that's what x is. So that's x. We found x. Is that what we're looking for? I don't know. I didn't read the directions. Let's find out. Solve for x. Oh, hey, look. Solve for x. That's what I did. So always be careful. Pay attention to what it is that you're solving for first. Give this one a try. All the skills that we've talked about up until now are contained within this problem. You can do it. Think about it. Okay, so just like before, we're going to take these and we're going to add them up to some amount. Now, it says lines that appear to be diameters are in fact actual diameters. Look, here's a diameter. So that one has to be that these add up to 180, right? The diameter cuts the circle in half. We go in 180 degrees. So let's add everything up. 5x plus 10 plus 76 plus 49 equals 180. So let's solve our, okay, let's solve our equation. Let's make this look a little better maybe. So first we're going to combine our like terms. Look at all these numbers we can add together. 76 and 49. Let's see, 85, 125, and then 10 more is 135. So we got 5x plus 135 equals 180. Let's double check that. I'm always concerned about my arithmetic in my head. I don't always get it right. 70 and 40 is 110, plus 10 is 120. 6 and 9 is 15, 135. Okay, so I'm pretty convinced that I did it right. $180 minus 135 is 45. Now we can divide by 5. We're going to get x equals 9. Again, I've found x. Let's make sure that's what I'm actually looking for. Ooh, it says solve for x right here. That's what I'm trying to do. There we go. Here's another one. Give this one a try, see if you can do it. Okay, so how do we know what we need? Take a look. These two right here are cut by a diameter, right? What about this thing over here? Is it necessary? Is it useful? Probably not. If I already have these, because the thing of it is it's not so much that I can't use it, it's why would I? Because I've got a whole semicircle right here. This 55 is unnecessary. Scribble it out. Get rid of it. Kill it. See, now it doesn't matter. It's not actually a thing anymore. So let's do this. These two add up to 180. So let's combine our like terms first. Here I am jumping the gun. 14x, we got 100 and negative 4, that is 96. I'm going to subtract 96. We're going to get 14x equals 84. Now we're going to divide by 14. 84 divided by 14 had better be 6. And again, look at your directions. It says solve for x. That's what I'm being asked to solve for. Make sure that you pay attention to what you're being asked to solve for. It does make a difference. If you don't do what they tell you, if you don't solve for the thing that they asked for, you aren't answering the problem and you're going to get it wrong. Once again, solve for x. Do this one. Once again, look at what you're given. You're given the diameter right here, right? You're given a semicircle right here. Is this 60 degrees necessary? No, right? So get rid of it. It no longer was. Who cares? It's useless. Move on with your life. This and this make 180. 16x plus 8 plus 76 equals 180. Combine your like terms. What is that? 84, right? 76 plus 8 is 84. Let's hope so. 76 plus 4 is 80, plus 4 more is 84. All right, awesome. We did it. We subtract 84, we get 16x equals 96, right? And then we can divide by 16. 16 times 5 is 80, plus 16 more is 96. So 16 divided into 96 had better give you an answer of 6 for x. And again, is that what they want? Solve for x. Hey, look, we did it. All right, so let's go ahead and let's find angle FAB. Let's do that. Let's just do it together right now. This is what we're looking for, angle FAB. So what we need to do is we need to figure out this angle, right? So we need to figure out what the arc is. So we go through, we need to figure out x plus 22 so that we can do do our job. But we do know this is a semicircle, so that these two are going to add up to 180. So we got x plus 122 plus x plus 80 equals 180. So let's do our work. Combine our like terms. Numbers go over here. Variables go over here. 1, 2 x's. 122 and 80 is 202. Yeah, 122 and 80. Thinking I'm saying something else. So now look, we're going to subtract that 202 over to the other side. Some of you in this lifetime are worried. Well, I just got negative 22. And I'll keep going, but I'm not, that's negative 11. How am I going to do negative 11? Well, at least let me like make it look better. How am I going to do negative 11? My answers can't be negative. Can't have a negative arc. No, you can't have a negative arc, but is x the arc? No. The arc isn't negative 11, right? The arc is x plus 122. Negative 11 plus 122. So we got to use the arc. The measure of the angle and the measure of the arc, well, that's going to be negative 11 plus 122. Well, what's 122 minus 11? Now that 111, that's a positive number. That's bigger than 0. That's okay. And that's what we want, right? Because if we know the measure of the arc, we know the measure of the angle. So the measure of angle fab, like the Beatles, the Fab Four, there's only 3 ones, so it's just the Fab 3. That's all it is. So really what's going on here is this is the exact same problem as what we just did, right? It's the exact same problem as what we just did. Same exact thing, but here we stopped at x. For this problem, we found x, and then we said, all right, well, hold on, we got to keep going. We can't just stop there. We actually have to finish the problem. We have to find the thing we're being asked to find, not just find x. Do not just find x unless they specifically tell you. If they tell you x, you got x, well then you're good. But if they tell you the measure of angle FAB, you got to find the measure of angle FAB. Same idea. Give it a try. Make sure you can do it. Alright, same idea. These add up to 180, right? It's a semicircle. So we want W, U, Y. So we want whatever these two add up to together, right? So we'll have to do a little bit of grunt work after we're done, but it shouldn't be that hard. So we're going to add them all up, set it equal to 180. We've got this one, and this one make 180. X plus 71 plus X plus 77 plus 50 makes 180. Once again, combine your like terms, get all your numbers over here, get all your letters over here. X and X makes 2 of them. 1 plus 1 is 2. Then we've got 71, 77, and 50, which should be, let's write it out. I don't feel like trying to do this in my head. 8, 7 and 7 is 14, plus 5 is 19. So 198 equals 180. Subtract 2x equals negative 18. X equals negative 9. That's x, but we don't want x. Let's figure out what w u y is. And you could, like, go straight through. You could say, there's like a bunch of different ways to do this. You could say, all right, well, what is xy? That's 68, and then 50 more gives you the whole thing that you want. You could also write it all out and then plug it in. Angle w u y, the measure of that is 50 plus negative 9 plus 77. You can just add them all up like this too. You're going to get the same thing either way, right? Like 118. 41 and 77. Yeah, 118. So remember, the angle and the arc have the same measurement, even though they sort of describe slightly different things. Just be careful about that, okay? A couple more. Do this one. You're looking for the measure of angle KNJ. Okay, so let's get on in there. KNJ, that's this guy. So we got to find what x plus 51 equals. Let's do it by using the semicircle again. See this 105 over here? Is that helpful? No. Get rid of it. We already got the semicircle. We don't need to do extra. And just combine your like terms again, just like usual. We got 2x plus 5, so that's 12, 8, 13, 19. 2x plus 192 equals 180. Subtract the 192. Divide by 2. That's x. But again, we don't want x. We want the arc KJ so that we can find the angle KNJ, right? This is our goal in here. This one. That's our goal. So we got to find that. So let's figure out what this is. 51 and negative 6. 45, right? 51 minus 6. 45. So our answer here is 45 degrees. And there we go. One more. We're looking for UTV. We're looking for UTV. See if we can figure it out together. All right. Well, let's do it. Here's the thing. We can add around. We don't know what all these are, but we do know that we've got a diameter right here. So we don't actually need this arc over here. We can come back and figure it out later. That's one way of doing it. That's probably the way I would do it. Just add these up, set that equal to 180, and then deal with the fact that we need to find UTV in a second. So we got 12x, we got 9x plus 5, we've got 70, those add up to 180. Combine your like terms, 12x and 9x makes 21x. 5 and 70 makes 75. We're going to subtract. Now we're going to divide. we end up with x equals 5. That's all well and good, but how do we use that to get what we want? Well, here's what I'll tell you. There's two different ways you can think about this. I'm going to write down the easier one, because this goes back to what we were talking about way, way back. Where did I put it? Yeah, here, right? Now, where was it? It was one of them. This one. These are the same because they're vertical angles, right? This is 50, so that's 50. So they added up to 55. Look, it's the exact same problem. I want UTV, but I got XTY. This is 60, isn't it? 5 times 12, right? So if this is 60, this had also better be 60. Our answer is 60. The measure of UTV is angle UTV 60. Easy. Have a good one, everybody.